This is your place for all things Grand Rapids Griffins and all things Toledo Walleye. This is the Hockeytown West podcast with your hosts, Brandon Cook, Nick Harrington, and Travis Foch.
Oh, boys, I'm running out of words to describe what the Grand Rapids Griffins have been doing so far this season. I'm about to have to open up a thesaurus and start picking up some bigger words that might confuse everybody as I'm talking about the game, but holy smokes, we're still undefeated in regulation, still undefeated at home. Beyond excited to dive into a couple of these games. One, because someone got their first goal of the season. We're going to talk about that. A third goalie in the organization's playing out of his mind. We're going to dive into that. But welcome back, everyone, to the Hockeytown West podcast, your source for everything Grand Rapids Griffins and Toledo Walleye hockey. We're going to jump right into things here because, yes, there's only 2 games to talk about. There's a lot to talk about with them. But before we dive into the games, news and updates for you guys. If you listened to our last Toledo episode, we talked about some of those moves because the transactions impacted the Toledo Walleye. So by now, you know the Grand Rapids Griffins had signed Nolan Moyle to a PTO, which we do love to see. They have released him since then. They released him after Friday's game, and I know we didn't talk about that in the Toledo show because we recorded it before then. But Nolan Moyle gets his shot in the American League for the first time. And after the game on Wednesday, I just flat out had to ask Coach Watson, what did you think of him? You know, it's a new guy coming in on a PTO from the Walleye, and he was pleasantly surprised and even mentioned the fact that, you know, he could see him getting future opportunities in the American League, understands why he would deserve those opportunities. And I was impressed with this game. Trav, you've seen him enough. You know a lot about him, but are you surprised to see it translate to the American League that smoothly?
Not really. He's a really good skater. Let's not forget. I mean, he was in Toledo last year, he signed there this year, but I mean, he went straight to the KHL out of college, which is one of the top leagues in the world. I mean, it's probably top 5 league in hockey. So credit to him he came, I guess you could say, back home, but to get a shot in the American League, albeit for just 2 games. Thought he looked comfortable, played with a couple guys he's maybe a little familiar with, more with Banel than Seeger, they all played in Toledo last year. But
did Bance play with him a lot in the playoffs last year?
I can't remember. I know they were both kind of in that 3rd, 4th line role last year, and Moyles played a lot higher in the lineup this year, which has given him more opportunities and maybe showcased himself a little bit more for something like this. Wish they just signed him, because now he can go back down and sign in PTO or an AHL contract anywhere, because any scout that was in the arena, if they look to fill their AHL team, that's a guy that's, you know, technically a free agent for an AHL contract at this point. So it's probably the only downfall with it, but play-wise, he looked great.
Nick, I know you only got to see him on Saturday or Friday's game. You were obviously working during the school day game like most people were. What did you think of Moyle in that game on that 4th line there?
I mean, he blended right in. It wasn't like something where I was like, oh, this guy looks off, or he looks out of place, or he's not keeping up with the pace of play. A lot of times at the end of the season, we see these junior kids come in and they look or college kids, and they look a step behind, or they look lost and they're not able to keep up. Didn't have that problem with Moyle. I thought he kept pace with everybody. Played really well. I was happy to see that the organization, maybe they listened to us and signed a depth piece from Toledo. So it was good to see that part, brought him up. And so happy on that end. I was confused to see the messages from Google where it was like Detroit Red Wings signed hometown kid. And I was just like, wait, what? What did I miss? Because
he's not even from here.
No, he played at the University of Michigan. I did watch him about 3 years ago now. Down there. So it was, kind of familiar to see him again. And obviously we've been following Toledo. So, but good. Happy. I would like to see more people from Toledo coming up. It helps us because we already know these guys, right? Because we've been watching them.
It helps us a ton.
Well, you and Trav, but does help us on that end. It gets us some, insight on that, I guess you could say. So, would like to see more people, and I don't know who else we could look at down there. I mean, obviously,
there's a few.
Yeah, I know you guys have been big on Hillebrand, so but we got to see our Carter Gylander finally, in a regular rotation up here, so that was good too.
Regular rotation? You mean just thrown straight into the fire 3 games in a row? Oh, I can't wait to talk about him in this episode. We'll talk about two other goalies, though. The Griffins had signed Isaac Pavicic, whatever you want to say for his last name there. I never got clarification, who was playing with the Kalamazoo Wings. We actually saw him in Toledo. Travis and I did on the game I went down there last Saturday. Saw him have to come in relief for the K-Wings goaltender Hunter Vorva. And they signed him for one day and then released him, which told us some updates on the injuries, which we'll get to those in a minute here. But then after that release, wondering, okay, does that mean we got one of our guys back? They sign a veteran goaltender to a PTO, Dustin Tokarski, who has been around pro hockey for a long time now. He's 36 years old. He's been with a handful of teams. I have his elite prospects page pulled up next to me. And just at quick glance, you can see like 7 or 8 teams. He's been around, but at the same time, pro experience, played last season. He played 6 games in the NHL last season with the Hurricanes and played a lot with the Chicago Wolves last year. Bringing in a veteran guy tells us what about the injuries? I don't know, but with this, I think it's one of those things where if they need to give Gylander a break and not run him 6 straight, it gives them the option to do that.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to. Just basically like with Dan, I asked Dan at the end of the game the other night, I was like, we running Carter for 2 more games? What are we? And he's just like, we don't know. I was like, yeah. Dan, give me something here. But yeah, it sounds like they're still day to day with Cossa, and he was practicing this week, so it's we could hopefully see him back between the pipes, at least in a backup role this week. Hopefully he's feeling good and ready to go.
What it tells me is they're not rushing Cossa, right? It's the last thing we want to do is rush him back in and have him sustain another injury that maybe takes him out longer, right? They have an option if we need to. He is just signed to a PTO, but they didn't sign him to a contract, so we're not running a 3-goalie situation when he comes back. But at the same time, it's concerning because you want Sebastian Cossa back. He's off to a hell of a start this season. And an injury like this, you just hope he comes back from it just as strong. Speaking of injuries, quick injury update down the board. Obviously, Sebastian Cossa, day-to-day, week-to-week, whatever you want to call it. As of right now, not back in. The Griffins do play on the road in Rockford on Wednesday, so hopefully before Wednesday we see an update. If he's not back for that one, I'm guessing they'll go with Gylander again. And then we'll see what happens with the Friday, Saturday games at home this weekend. On top of that, you still have Shai Buyam out of the lineup as well. Hopefully back soon. We could say that we saw his gear at least near the room. That's a positive sign. I haven't seen it all season, but haven't been to practice yet. I can't tell you if he's skating or not. If someone has been to practice and let us know in the comments, that'd be great if you saw an appearance from him on the ice. Michael Postava, we don't have an update on him. It sounds like it's going to be a little bit longer before we get an update. We just know it's a lower body injury, and I think that was kind of obvious from the play that he went out of the game on in Chicago. And then Andre Becker, he's been injured since practice that week off the Griffins had. He's not back in. Maybe with them releasing Moyle tells us he's good to go and come back in. Maybe it was a release to help good old Pat Mickish and the Toledo Walleye out and get Moyle back in the lineup since obviously the Griffins didn't play again until Wednesday. I'm hoping that tomorrow being Tuesday, that it's not just a chaos news day of lineup changes like last Tuesday that Travis and I had to deal with for everybody. We don't need another Tuesday like that, especially because I have to work.
Well, we're playing tomorrow, so if there is, I got questions.
You guys have another school day game tomorrow.
Yeah, if there's a lot of moves tomorrow, I got questions.
Yeah, me too. At least hopefully they wait till after the game, right? But that's all we have for news and injury updates around the Grand Rapids Griffins. Let's dive into the last 2 games they've played. Before we do that, though, if you made it this far in the video or the show, or you're listening to it wherever, make sure you hit follow or hit subscribe on YouTube. Hit the like button, comment on the videos. Let us know how terrible our takes are. Nick got a couple comments last week on our Griffins show. I actually saw a couple comments from the Toledo one that said just commenting for the, to help the show. So, hey, we appreciate that. Thank you guys for that. Into the games. The Griffins played their school day game last Wednesday. Ironically, at the exact same time Toledo was playing their school day game. Who would have thought Travis and I would be covering 2 hockey games at the same time at 10 or 11 in the morning on a weekday? But hey, here we are. But what was cool about this game, obviously being the 30th year of the team, is there's already a lot of cool things happening. But this was the largest crowd they've ever had for a school day game, and my ears can confirm it because they're still ringing, I think, at this point. But it was cool to see them get almost like 8,400 people in there on a Wednesday morning. Pretty cool, right?
That's more than what they had on that Saturday night of the opening weekend. So I was surprised on that end.
That is bigger attendance. I should say it was 8,783. I think it was 1,700 regular tickets. The rest were kids. And again, Tyler and I can confirm for you. It was it was loud, but there was a lot of reasons to cheer throughout this game. It was a tight game, and you go into this looking at the Marlies roster and go, "Oh, Joseph Woll is starting in net for them." Maybe? Because then I looked at his result from the half a game he played before, and I was like, maybe he's not ready to be back. He did play a solid game. This game ends up going to OT, and he's the first player we're going to talk about out of this, Amadeus Lombardi. Game-winning goal in overtime. Not just that, it's his first goal of the season. Not just that, Carter Gylander got the freaking assist on it.
Yeah, I saw that stat that he got the assist because I was working. So I was prepping yesterday, saw that he got the assist, trying to add up everybody's points for Ignite the Nest. And I'm like, because I was thinking on Friday, I'm like, man, whoever went with somebody went with goalies this week. And I was like, what a chaotic pick because of what had happened with the injuries and everything. And I'm just like, what is going on? I'm like, what do I do for this team that picked the goalies? Usually you only pick one. And I'm like, well, you get both of them. And now this week we've got 4 different goalies or something like that. And I'm looking at it. I'm like, wow, they got points for the assists. I was like, man, I wish I would have known that Friday when we talked with Carter, because I asked him about his open net opportunity, and he gave me that. And I was like, man, at this point, like Carter comes up from the ECHL, comes in, he gets an assist, possible goalie goal, playing well. I mean, some people are going to start putting him on the next call up for Detroit, which almost happened. But to get back to Lombardi, I'm just glad that this finally happened, right? Like it took him a little bit last year to get going. I think it was his 4th game in. He got 2 goals and then he got rolling. He's had some chances. He continually passes over to the guy that's hot, Mr. John Leonard, which not a bad route to go, leading the team as well. But for Ammo to get it, and I know when you talk to him post game, like it was special for him. It was a special day for him to be able to do it. And I talked with you on Friday about it. I was like, does he just play better when Nate's out of the lineup, or like what? Like what happens with the situation here? It's very odd correlation I'm trying to find.
Yeah, you did ask me that, and I said to you, maybe it's a sense of relief. Like, it's obvious you're competitive, right, in that position. You have Nate Danielson playing second-line center in Grand Rapids for most of the season so far, and Ammo was playing first line, so you've got a potential first-line center breathing down your neck that has got a couple goals in the season when he was playing here. So maybe it was pressure, maybe it's relief, I don't know. But to see him find the back of the net on a goes 5-hole on Joseph Woll, even it was nice to see. And like you mentioned, a special day. It was on his grandpa's birthday. That's pretty cool for him to do that. I know he was really happy, and just a kind of sigh of relief that he got that first one.
I think the biggest thing I said to you, Brandon, I asked you if that puck even hit the back of the net.
I don't think it did.
And like that's the most, like, I guess you could say, fitting way that he would score this year, is that his first of the year, at least, is that he gets a breakaway. And of all things he decides to do is shoot the puck. Like, and it barely trickles in. Like, it's just so like fitting the way that sometimes you just need to see the puck go in. Maybe not like the most like assertive way, right? Like just, or the flashy way. Sometimes it just has to be like a little elbow grease, right? Nothing like fancy, just shoot it. And I mean, it's good that he got on the board, and then Saturday, I'm sure we'll talk about, carried it over. But biggest thing with him is just shoot the puck more. Like I understand the want to pass, but like kind of showed it last year that he can score at this level. So it's not like you can't do it. And I think he even said in his post game that like the guys were kind of getting on me, trying to get me out of my own head. So it's like, dude, like trust your shot. It's like I heard the same thing last year down here was, it's like we need guys to trust a shot a little bit more. And it's like, I know you got Leonard riding shotgun with you, but at some point you got to trust your own ability and shoot the puck more. So good to see you finally got one.
And Leonard didn't play this game either, so I think that helped as well, because he was centering between MBN and Dominic Shines. He probably was going into this like, okay, none of these two guys, or disrespect to these guys, but none of them are on a hot streak like Leonard is. Maybe I do need to, take a shot here.
And led the team in shots in the game. He had 6.
And he had an early chance too, in the beginning, in the first 2 minutes. Like I see that post from us, and it was just, he was this close, and that was a rip too that he had.
Yeah, it was.
I'll say this, like, if you're worrying about that, you're worrying way too much, and you're overthinking the game. Like, if you're like at that point, then he's right. Then he's in his own head. Like at that point, you gotta at least just have something happen that you can get out of it. But like, you can't be thinking like that. Then you're going to overthink the game, and then mistakes can happen. And
Yeah, and I don't think he's probably thinking that way because MBN's still an elite shot to be passing it to at the same time. But the message has kind of been clear: shoot the puck, kid, right? And come out of that game with 6 shots. Obviously, the game-winning goal, and it was really funny too when the Griffins shared their post-game locker room video of them giving out the belt and whatever. Because they go hand it to Ammo at first, and you hear clear as day Austin Watson in the background. Oh, look what happens if you shoot it!
First thing I'd say.
And he even said the guys have been on him to shoot the puck more. He came out with 6 shots in that one and ends up with the game winner. So happy for him in the way it happened. Obviously, we'll talk about another goal from him in Friday's game. I keep saying Saturday. This whole week makes no sense anymore. Another goal we'll talk about this one is Sheldon Dry's first goal of the game there for the Griffins. Forehand, backhand beauty to beat Joseph Wool there. Dries is like busting out these highlight reel goals kind of left and right this season so far.
Basically is a carbon copy of the goal he scored earlier in the year. I think I even texted you that. You're like, because I think you texted me like Dries goal incoming, and I look up and I literally remember because I looked to my iPad and it's Dries going to his backhand and elevating. I'm like, I think I even texted you like, I think he scored that goal once already this year.
Absolutely filth.
Yeah, dude.
I said we need to add it to the goals of the month for November already. Like that is a top candidate there. So,
yeah.
I
think the first goal of the month candidate was his too, honestly. So
he knows how to start the month. I guess we're 17 days in.
He knows how to start the games too. He's been scoring early in the games to get the boys going. And you'd love to see that from a guy that's, he's a seasoned veteran. He's considered a leader on this team. And to see him get the guys going like that, Austin Watson got the assist on it, which was, just a good pass to get it going. But the Drisey goal to get it started, that's unreal. And obviously Austin Watson had the game-tying goal for the Griffins in this one in the second period. No goals in the third. A nice goal from him. There's something about him scoring on school day games. So I had to go back and look, and I'm like, I swear I talked to him after the last school day game last year, and I did. So he plays really well early in the morning, apparently. He plays well all the time, but for something about scoring on those school day games, he's good at it.
Gotta ask him what's in his coffee.
Right? We asked, one time with Trail Max, he told us, the Gatorade was good. On top of that, we obviously have to talk about Carter Gylander, right? We've hinted at it before. We'll talk about him with both games, but in this one, you look at one end of the ice and you see an NHL goalie on a conditioning stint. And you look at the other end, you see a guy who was just in the ECHL last week. And the guy from the ECHL comes out on top in this one. I joked with the guys up in the box to, post after this game. If it wasn't an OT winner, crazy post like that, is it going to be the post Carter Gylander better than Joseph Wool? ? I'm sure Leafs fans would have found that and jumped all over us. But the second game of the week for Gyro, and one that he's not getting tossed into, and he was stellar.
People, we've been talking about Carter Gylander for what, 2, 3, 4 years now, and I'm glad he's finally getting his moment to shine. Right, not in this reason, right? Of we don't want to see goalies injured, but. I definitely wanted to see him up in Grand Rapids this year at the start. And then they signed Postava, and Postava's been great. But, we want to give that chance to Carter Gylander. He's earned it. He's gone through the ranks, right? He's proven himself in the ECHL. And he gets the call up, and then people are, now people are like, whoa, where did this guy come from? I'm like, bro, he's been in the organization since Steve's first draft year. Like that, he's been here for a while. And, he had a couple college years, and now he's, finally here. He played a couple games in the NHL last year, but for him to come in, now he's got his feet settled, right? He played that Saturday in Toledo, right? And then he comes in Sunday, has to relieve Postava. It was either Friday or Saturday.
He played Friday in
Toledo.
Yeah.
At Kalamazoo. And then he comes over, relieves Postava really early, like Dan said. He didn't really have his feet under him at that point. Well, you're always expected to be ready to go in, but it's different to actually being ready to go in that early. Played well on that Sunday game. Plays well again here on this school day game. Right? It's out of character. It's not out of character, but it's out of routine. Right? It's not a game that he's prepped or ready for. I don't know what the goalie rotation for Toledo is going to be for him, if he was going to be playing the school day game down there in Toledo for Tuesday on that day. So, I mean, it's for him to come in, play well, get the win, keep the boys in it. It was a tight game, and get the assist. He's already ahead of the other goalies in that category.
Yeah, I mean, when you think about his first 2 games of the season for Grand Rapids, one being tossed in 8 minutes in, the next one is a 11 a.m. start. Like that's a tough ask for any goaltender like that. For him to go in and get the win, yes, overtime win, whatever. The goalie's job is to do what? Give the boys a chance to win, and he did exactly that. Did his job.
36 shots. Yeah, that I mean, against a Toronto Marlies team, which is typically pretty good. So
They've got shooters. They've got some good shooters.
they just they just don't have goal scorers.
You guys remember when he got called up? I think I was talking to you, Nick. I'm like, it was in the group message, and Nick made the comment, he pulled his stats. And I'm like, don't let the stats fool you. He's playing really well. No, don't even, because you did it. You did
I
it.
said I didn't pull the stats. I did not post that on Twitter because I didn't want Red Wings Twitter to come at me about this guy not having great numbers down in the coast. So
You
I didn't
did.
post it.
You did. I'll give
And
you
I
that.
posted the stats to us because I was like, I'm not going to post these because I
Yeah.
don't want Twitter to get angry at us. So that's, I like Carter. I respect Carter. I like
I know
him.
it was just funny how that all happened, because the first text that you sent was his statistics, and I was like,
I was just trying to be riled up.
because I know you probably haven't like watched a lot of the Toledo games, so I'm
Right.
like, Nick, don't read into these, please.
But you know me better than
No, I know.
90% of Twitter.
I knew it was coming.
Yeah.
coming. But like, it was so like fitting that that's the first text after I think one of us was like, Carter's going up. Here's the stats like 30 seconds later. And I was like, I know what he's doing, but like, please don't do this right now.
Yeah, if you haven't caught on yet, Nick likes to rile us up.
I get
He's pretty
bored.
good at it too.
But to my point, like, I even put it on Twitter. I was like, don't let the stats fool you. He's playing really well. Don't be shocked if this transition is seamless and he steps in and fills in just fine. And he did. And I even had a conversation. It was like, I hope Carter bounces back. I was like, trust me, this guy's going to bounce back. Like, I've seen it. I know the guy. He's a great kid. He's a really good young prospect. I was so excited that he got the opportunity, right? Like, circumstances, yes. Like, you don't wish injuries on guys, but with one's injury comes another one's opportunity. And so far, he's made the most of his opportunity. So you can't help but be so excited for the guy. Like,
Are we seeing a Tom Brady backup quarterback take over the reins here? Is this the story we're going to write this year? Because I think we continue, like, and I really wanted Dan to say, like, we're going to continue to ride the goalie, right? We're going to continue to ride him. He's here. He's available. Like, and he wouldn't commit. He knew what I wanted. And he wasn't going to give me that, I think. So, because he hasn't. The 2-3 years that he's been here, he has not committed to a goalie. It's always been a rhythm, a rotation, and for me, I was like, well, it's weird that he went Carter back to back. Obviously Sunday, he didn't have a choice. But to go back to back in both these games this week, I was like, that's interesting. Are you going to continue? Because now we have a break and you're comfortable and you know Carter more than you know Dukorski, right? But it'll be interesting to see how this plays out. And, Coast being back, I still would like them to keep the 3.
Dan didn't say that to you, though, because if he would have said that, people would have instantly been like, oh my God, Coast is going to be out like long term. Oh my, like the world would have burned down if he would have been like, yeah, we're just going to keep going with Gylander going forward. Like everyone knows Postava's injury is going to probably take a little bit of time. If he would have alluded to Gyro's going to get a ton of starts here all of a sudden, Red Wings Twitter would have had an extreme meltdown. So thank you, Dan, for not saying that.
You won't say it.
No, I mean, obviously it's still day to day. Like, we don't know.
he played the card well because he said, as health permits us.
Yeah.
He threw the health card out there a lot. So
He's
Coach
so
Watson
smart.
knows how to do post game.
yeah, and like,
I
let's
can't
not
trick
forget,
him.
like, if Cosa's healthy, like, they're gonna play Cossa too. Like, he's their top goaltending prospect. Like, he was taken so high in the draft. They're gonna rely on him when he's healthy. Now, until we get there, you might see Carter again. Like, I wouldn't be shocked if they rode Carter until Costa's healthy enough to play. That wouldn't surprise me one bit.
Even with a back-to-back coming up this weekend, I could still see them doing that. It's so funny because you look at this and go, for a while we were wondering, is this year going to be Cossa Gylander before they signed Postava, and then everything changed. We didn't know what that lineup would look like. And then, Travis, you and I were talking at the game on Friday is like, what could next year look like? If Cossa gets that shot in the NHL and he's there permanently, is it a Gylander Postava tandem in Grand Rapids next season? And the early test for Gyro that'd be fine with us.
Well, we almost got to a point where Carter was going to make his NHL debut this week too.
Yeah, I mean,
Because
that was a terrifying moment for us. The opportunity for him would have been insane. But
I thought it was incredible.
Oh, I'm sure you do.
Well, I'm not going to lie. It almost got spoken into existence.
Yeah, it really did.
It almost got spoken into existence. So
cursed us.
Oh, man. As soon as we saw Gibby go out of that game, it was like, oh, bleep.
Well, no, because I was down here at practice on Tuesday and I seen Ace and I was talking to Ace, right? And it's like, we were sitting there just having a casual conversation. And like all of a sudden, like it gets brought up that like, Carter's an injury from Detroit. And I was like, oh my God, I didn't even really think of that. Like I wasn't thinking that at the moment. And then what happens on Friday night, Gibson goes out and you're like, uh-oh. Or not Friday, what was it, Thursday or Wednesday last week, whatever day that was. You're like, uh-oh. This might actually happen. It was Thursday.
Yeah, talk about a whirlwind week it could have been for Carter. Like, you talk about those 2 starts, and you're like, hey, you're backing up in the NHL, kid. Like, holy smokes.
Yeah.
Luckily, that didn't happen, because then you look at the Griffins and go, it's Tokarski and Pavic. Oh, here we go.
We need to get with Carter and see what his thoughts were this week. And like, did you, were you getting ready to go
did you
to
see
Detroit?
that happen and go, oh no.
Well, for him, he's probably looking at it and going, oh, like I might have another opportunity here.
Or is there a goaltender at MSU going, dang it. I would have had a shot. Anyways, moving on from that topic. No, all around good game for the Griffins, winning this one 3-2 at OT. You've seen Toronto come into town like that, and you go, all right, is this going to be the game? Is this the regulation game? Oh God, it doesn't happen. They go to OT. It's a winner, and you move on, right?
I got one thing to say.
Yeah.
Dog, if you're listening, you denied us the best jersey matchup possible this year. The Marlies Blues and the Shield jersey. Like, next time I'm there, he can come at me. I don't care. I take criticism well. He denied us that opportunity.
You know what'll suck is they'll do it on the road. Watch. They'll do it when they go to Toronto.
Oh, if he listens, he'll probably do it now. He'd be like, yep, you're not going to get to see it in person. You got to watch it on TV.
Yep. That would have been sweet, though. I was really hoping for that, honestly. You do love to see that. Last note I'll say, the Griffins special teams in this game, great. Perfect penalty kill, 4 for 4. Get a power play goal as well in there. They did allow a shorty, though, again. That was back-to-back games with shorthanded goals allowed. If you went back to the Chicago game where we allowed 2, and I immediately was like, oh, God, is this going to suddenly be a problem that carries forward every game we're giving up a shorty? And again, an opportunity where you look at Carter and go, there's nothing you could do, kid. Nothing you could do at all in this one. But again, great Griffins result, great win. And on to the Friday game. But before we get there, we're going to hit a quick ad break. When we come back, recap Friday's game, give you our 3 stars of the week, and a quick update around the American Hockey League.
Hockey is back, and this season's DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NHL, brings you all the speed, skill, and nonstop action you love. DraftKings Sportsbook delivers the unmatched intensity of the NHL right to your fingertips. From player drops to the thrill of live in-game betting, every drop of the puck is your shot to win big. New customers, this one is for you. Bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you'll get paid out $300 in bonus bets instantly. I know the big one right now, everybody's betting on it. Emmett Finney for the Calder. So put your bets in now. Be a fun watch for the rest of the season. Light the lamp all season long with DraftKings. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code THPN. That's code THPN to turn $5 into $300 in bonus bets if your bet wins. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort, Kansas. Pass-through of per wager tax may apply in Illinois. 21 plus age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Born in Ontario, restrictions apply. Bet must win to receive bonus bets, which expire 7 days. Minimum odds required. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/audio. Limited time offer. Copyright NHL 2025. All rights reserved.
And welcome back. All right. let's dive into the second game of the week, the Friday night game again against the Toronto Marlies. A little back-to-back at home. And the Griffins, yes, they do play the Marlies on the road later in the season here, so we will see them again. The Griffins at home for Military Appreciation Night. Plus, Trav, you were in Grand Rapids. It was nice to have you. Nice for you to make the trip for once.
Well, I mean, the goal is once a month if weather allows, right? We'll see
that's generous because that's not our goal for down there this year.
Well, I mean, I think you've said it. I have probably the most experience driving with the snow, right? Like I'm the most
100%. And if the winter is anything like they say it's going to be, Toledo, you're not seeing me till the spring.
So we'll see. Hopefully the weather allows. It was fun. It's good to see you guys. I kept Elaine distracted for Brandon and Nick to work the whole game.
You had her going in that game. It was funny.
While also paying attention, I might add, and clipping Toledo. Like I was doing 3 jobs.
It's impressive what you can do with a broken hand. I will say that. I'll give you credit.
As long as it doesn't involve writing.
More than what I do.
Oh, besides that, another great result for the Griffins. Another great crowd. Honestly, not as many people as the school day game, but an engaged, fun crowd. I really anytime a $2 beer night happens and the crowd sticks around after the second period, you're like, all right, this is the hockey crowd's here. And usually you don't see them come in until snow starts flying. Granted, it has flown once here in Grand Rapids already, so we'll take that. But it was good to see a good crowd out there. Military Appreciation Night's always a good one. The jerseys looked sick. The full kit looked great on ice. I wish I would have looked at jersey auction prices to see who went for the most this year. I didn't take a look at it. But on to the game itself, the Griffins come away with a massive 5-2 win in this one, which when you look at the game Wednesday and go, all right, it was a tight OT game coming into this one. What's this one going to be to keep the undefeated and regulation streak alive? I didn't expect this result, but they dominated the Marlies up and down the ice. That hunting mentality Dan Watson has talked about so many times this season, it was on full display in this game.
It was crazy because I hadn't seen that. I didn't watch Wednesday's game. I didn't have a chance to rewatch it, the school day game. So, I came in and I was like, after I think it was first 5 minutes, Brandon, I'm like, did they play like this on the last game? And you're like, well, yeah, they were just controlling the entire ozone, just having Toronto into the zone, getting shots off. It looked like it's just an all-star team versus the last place team in the league. It was so bad. They were so aggressive. They were just out there. They're like, we're not going to even let up here. It was the best game I think I've ever seen them play in the last 3 years. I think that was literally the best I've ever seen them play. This is I say it every week. This team is a unit. It doesn't matter who's in net, doesn't matter who's in defense, it doesn't matter who is called up, doesn't matter who is called up to Detroit, I meant, but also called up from Toledo now. This team just blends so well together, and there's just no chaos. There's no stress, right? They just come in and they do their job and they do it really well.
Yeah. Travis, this was your first time seeing the team in person this season. Just what was your impression of their style of play on ice before we dive into talking about the guys that scored goals?
I think they're, like Nick said, they're like a cohesive unit. They're playing as groups of 5. That's probably the most exciting thing to watch. I think a lot of their chemistry is built early, right? Especially with guys getting hurt and getting called up. But that's a credit to coaching and some of the leadership group that they've got. They got so many veterans. Their attention to detail on minor things is very important, right? Face-offs. I think we talked about that in the press box. Just how organized they looked there. Structurally, they looked pretty good organizationally, or organization within the structure they're playing, right? Just seems like where guys know where to go, when to assert a little extra pressure, when to kind of fold back a little bit, and then just playing within themselves, not trying to do too much, but not doing too little. I think that's probably the biggest thing is just taking what the play gives them. I think that's one thing. They're not trying to force too much and reading the play, knowing when to make a rush, when to jump ahead into a play and stuff like that. It's like I said earlier, I think Waddy, you look at, what was it, his 3rd year in Toledo, he went to the finals as the head coach, right? And then this is his 3rd year. So it's year one, you kind of learn in the league, right? Getting your feet underneath you. Year two, you take a step, right? I think you've seen half the year they played really good. And then it was just like between call-ups and injuries, it was just an absolute mess in the second half for him. And then this year, it's like, okay, I think he's fully got a grasp of what he wants to do, right? And how they want to play, how they want to assert, their structure and their attention to detail and how they want to play the game. And just, I think he's really, him and himself has really figured it out. And then when he's got it figured out, it's only going to show up on the ice.
Yeah, and there's another detail I want to hit too, is that they look like they're scouting their opponents so well. And I really want to get time this season to talk to our new video coach, because it feels like they're just so well prepared every game with whatever opponent's in front of them. And I know that goes with the structure and everything else too, but it just seems like they have the other team so well scouted before they hit the ice. And I think, a lot of credit goes to him in that aspect, because, those kind of the unsung heroes when you look at the guys breaking down the game. Obviously, the coaches break down the game too. But when you got a guy breaking down every detail like a video coach does, and it's not a discredit to Eric Youngie, the video coach last year, but for a guy to step into the organization first year and to have the team so well prepared, a lot of credit goes to him too.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, it is the things that they have fixed between each game. Like you said, Chicago, like we watched the Chicago game, there was a lot of 2-on-1s, there was a lot of penalty or shorthanded goals. That didn't happen this game. There was no, like, at least I don't remember any breakaways. I don't remember any 2-on-1s. I don't remember any odd man rushes. Like, it was just so, like, just structurally, it was just so good. And I think that's a huge carryover to this game. Like, they just have smart players as well, like, that can play into this system. And Waddy has picked, I don't know how they did it. Obviously, they need a little bit more depth, but even the guys they have, they've just been able to continue to plug and play and keep moving. Like, it's so impressive to me.
Yeah, smart hockey players, especially when you look at, like Waddy always talks about, the faceoff's the only scripted part of the game, right? First goal of the game right off the faceoff from Trail Max. And it was a well-designed play. He went right where he needed to go, where that puck was at, and he just ripped it. And it was a perfect shot. Like, he put it right up top over the goaltender's shoulder, and I don't think you could have scripted a faceoff any better than that.
Yeah, I wish we had the stats. Waddy did let it leak in the most game. They're not that great this year with the faceoffs, which we think they're getting better. I don't know where they're at, but they are getting better. And to have that, I mean, Tyler Hagel told him, he said, "Hey, get ready to rip this thing," and and he did. And we're like, whoa, where did that come from? So it was good to see him
for a
back
fun
up on the
post game
board.
moment too.
Probably my favorite post game I've ever had.
The two top post game interviews I've ever done are with Edwards Trail Max. Like, he's such a funny guy. But I know, like, we got through our questions with him, and Elaine, he answered all of Elaine's questions, and he decided to tell us that, when he shoots, he thinks about pancakes and blueberries, and, put the puck where mom keeps those things, top shelf. What a beauty. If you haven't seen that yet, go to our social pages. It's out there. Any interview we've ever done with him, worth a watch.
I think you said it best when we were leaving the arena. Like, the next time you guys pull him, you all collectively better say, we're not asking one question because you told us that we don't even need to, and you'll just talk. So here's the floor, is what I would say to him.
1,000% going to happen at this point. Like, it has to. He's a must get for the show at some point in time. We'll talk to the team about it and see, like, we got to have him on. He's such a character, but also you can tell just another one of those guys that truly believes in everybody in that room. And I think that's such a key piece to this team's success right now. You go to the next goal in the game here, and it was thought to be maybe MBN's goal. Ian Mitchell sends a floater from the blue line. It might have hit MBN. It might not. You look at the replay closer, it didn't touch him. Even in post game, he flat out was like, I didn't think that puck touched me. So he wasn't shy to say that it wasn't his goal. So Ian Mitchell gets his first as a Griffin, and the Griffs go up 2-0 right there. And it's happiness all around, right?
I'm stoked. I mean, 2-0, like, we're up. Let's go home.
Yeah, right. You go to the second period, no goals between the teams. It's a 2-goal game. It's a tight game. And you're like, what could happen? We saw, a close game Wednesday, and MBN. First goal of the third period here. An absolute rocket. Like, I knew the kid could shoot, but I didn't know he could shoot that hard.
This is his style. Like, he murdered that puck, some would say. Just I thought the puck went through the net. I thought, because that's how hard he shot that.
What did he say in post game? I just try to hit it as hard as I can.
Yeah.
And he did. Oh, man, it was good to see him get another goal. It's only his second of the season so far, but again, just a guy that's got ridiculous talent when he shoots the puck, and when he's in that position at that spot on the ice, knows his job. Rip it.
I will say, like, he was one of the guys that I kind of like watched in that game, just to kind of, familiarize myself with watching him in person. I thought he did a lot of great things in that game. Obviously the goal like that, obviously they took from him still in front of, like, he's in the hard area. That's a nice thing to see. Finishes checks. He kind of just, he doesn't really stop. I think he even said, like, post game, working on speed, pace of the game, right? Like, that's what they kind of want him to work on. Obviously, I think the goals, the points will come. They're coming, right? They're starting to show up a little bit here recently. But just again, kind of develop into that hard to play against 200-foot guy that's got a big shot. Like, I think I've said it a few times, like, they need that guy that can kind of play on the edge, or not necessarily the edge, but just play heavy, right? Provide that heavy influence. And he was doing it in Detroit, but he wasn't putting up points. And down here, he's doing it and he's starting to put up points. So that's I think, going to become a very key element to his game, is that, you can play fairly physical, but also you got to produce, right? Like, they're going to expect that from him with where they drafted him, like being a first round draft pick and having a big shot that he does. Now, I just want to, say, like, he's still young. So let's not, try to be, oh, he's going to go out and score 40 goals. Like, let's let him develop at his own pace. Like, there's a reason he got sent down after 9 games. They want him to work on some things and become a more well-rounded player.
You don't want to put the title of the savior on him for this
Bro,
organization.
they're all the saviors.
No, but I think to your point though, is like, he's in those hard areas. That Mitchell goal would not have happened if he wasn't there. Like, he was in front of the goalie. He was screening. Like, the points will come. We saw it last year at the end of the season. As he got comfortable, as he got familiar, he took off. Right. I think you're gonna hate me, but I expect to see that going forward. Right. Like, just continually getting the points and getting the goals. That goal, like, it was effortless. Right. Just one swing of the freaking stick and it's in the back of the net. Like, goalie had no out. Like, he couldn't even see it. There's no way he was going to save that. So I think he'll get better as well, especially when Cossa gets back, right? He's going to be going up against Cossa. There's going to be a little battle out there, I think, and he's going to learn, where to put it, and he's just going to get better, I think.
Iron sharpens iron in practice. Yeah. Makes sense.
The one thing I pointed out to you guys when we were leaving, I love who he's sitting next to in the room. His locker was right next to John Leonard. He's a guy that has shown he can score in this league. He knows what it takes to score, right? Like, MBN, young player learning how to score at this league. He can bounce questions. What do you see? What can you help me with if, he wants some assistance on some stuff, right? So that was one thing for me that really kind of stuck out, is he's got a player that has shown he can score at an elite level, that he can bounce ideas off, and it's his locker mate. So that's a very interesting piece to all of this that I noticed standing in the locker room.
I wish you'd sit more next to Trail Mix, just because the chemistry that they have off the ice is just fantastic. In post game, they're just giving each other crap back and forth, and it was just hilarious. So, it's good, because you did say in the last time we recorded, Trav, you said he needs to be in John Leonard's ear, like, all the time. I'm pretty sure when we recorded, but you said he needs to be right next to John Leonard and listening in. So, good catch on that. I know we looked at the locker plates, and I didn't catch that.
Yeah, no, it is good for him to be partnered with him. And I do want to point out one other thing on this goal too. Credit needs to go to Raklovsky for the sell. Mitchell passes it to him, and he starts skating up into the slot, looking like he's about to shoot it. It does that quick little shove pass off to the left there to MBN, who's ready to rip it. The Marlies were 100% focused on Raklovsky at that point, giving MBN the space to get that shot off. So he gets some credit on that. It was a really nice assist from him. Wanted to make sure I noted that in this. You continue on in the game. The Marlies do get a goal to at least bring it back within 2, but who else but Amadeus Lombardi? Goals in back-to-back games. John Leonard gets an assist. Leonard feeding Ammo. He's paying him back, with all those goals that he's fed him. Just a dirty, gritty goal, though. Ammo goes to the net, finds the loose puck there, and puts it over the pad of the goaltender. And you're happy to see him find goals in back-to-back games.
And it wasn't his style of goal, right? Like, you typically see him ripping it from the, from those couple different slot areas, and He's going to the net. He's driving to the net. It's the big thing that they kept saying this weekend was he's 200-foot player working on defense. But, it's good to see the goals start coming back for him, right? It just gives him confidence, and I'm hoping that translates to the rest of his game too.
I do too. And of course, it wouldn't be a game without a John Leonard goal. He got the empty netter there from Eric Gustafsson. Griffins win it 5-2. And I know we talked a lot about him in the first game. You've got to talk about Carter Gylander again in this game. And I think their goalie coach in Toledo says it best for what he is. And what is that, Travis?
Kid's a stud.
Kid's a stud.
There's no other words. I even sent him a note. I was like, a picture of Carter. He goes, "Don't get me so excited."
I think he said word for word, "Don't get me so fired up."
Yeah. That's what it was. You're correct. Yeah.
Ace loves his goalies, man.
He does. Like, it's a union. And like, I love that even in, when they get the call up, the excitement for them to get that opportunity. Like let's we talk about Ace a lot on the Toledo show. So if you don't tune into that show, you don't really know who this guy is. Like, he's their goaltending coach in Toledo. He was last year the first full-time goaltending coach. It made a huge difference in his development and our development. They have 2 young kids down here now that are, picking his mind, getting, his thing. But like with Carter, like, he's not here without Ace. And I think Carter will tell you that. And you see that with, how much Carter's grown in a calendar year. Like, it's night and day, a different goaltender. Game 1 Toledo last year to now, the kid looks so much different. And it's just A, because he played pro last year, but B, he's found that next step.
Yeah, and I can think of 2 saves in this game that stick out to me. One was near the end of the first period. Marlies player shoots it past the net. It goes off the back of the boards, bounces right onto another Marlies stick. He's wide open, and Gyro got over and just shuts it down real quick. And I was like, oh, what a save. Not unless you were watching it closely, it looked like a routine save. It definitely wasn't. Then a save later on in the game, on his back, gets the glove up in the air, and immediately we all looked at each other and just said, "Guy's a stud." Like, it was that was the saying of the night, because again, he was standing on his head for moments of this game. Faced 27 shots in this one?
He was huge when they needed him to be. Like, there were points in this game where they needed that big save, right? And like we've heard, Detroit fans for years talk about how they seemingly never get the big save at the big moment. Well, like, the goaltenders down here, who's ever been in net so far this year, has provided that big save at the key moment. Like, you talk about the one in the first period. You talk about that one in the second period where he's, flailed out and just gets his hands up and just makes a save, right? Sometimes it's not. And he even said it last summer or this summer, and when we had him on the show, like, sometimes when he's swimming like that, the cool saves are you're out of position, but you just find a way to make the save. So
yeah, it's pretty unreal to see what he's been doing. It was nice to see what he would do with, actual structure leading into a game, not a 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock start, not getting tossed into it. It was his game to go win, and he stood on his head when he needed to. And I got to correct myself. It was 23 shots against, not 27. The Griffins had 27 shots in that game. But yeah, it's another great game from Gyro. Happy to see what he's doing. The last point I wanted to hit on this game was just, it goes back to the Griffins structure, right? How well disciplined they were in this game. They didn't take a single penalty. I can't think of a time in recent memory where the Griffins had 0 penalties against. The penalty kill had a really easy night.
I thought that was really weird.
It is, right? But at the same time, you look at how they played, and even with how heavy they played on the puck, that hunting mentality, they didn't make mistakes. There's a couple times where you see Ammo poking the stick in there, and you're like, buddy, you took a couple on the school day game. Be careful. But at the same time, he did it responsibly, and the whole team was just really responsible overall. So, weird stat that you don't see very often. Had to point it out as we went through this one. But you do love to see the penalty kill getting a night off, because they've been absolutely fantastic this season. We'll talk about them here in just a second, because we're going to talk about the special teams overall, because that continues to be a storyline for the Griffins, not in a negative way. Like we had talked about the power play last season, 7th best power play in the league at 25%, and still the best penalty kill in the American Hockey League at an astonishing 89.2% for the PK. It's insane.
That's insane.
It's great stuff. You can't win without special teams. You can't do it. You need your special teams to be a key component, especially the penalty kill. When you're down a man, you got to be able to kill penalties, but you also need a power play to be. Listen, if they would have had a power play in the mid-teens last year, they would have been even better team than what they were. Like their power play just struggled, right? And the year before, same thing. But their PK last year was pretty good. This year, it's even better. Power plays at what you could argue is an elite start, right? Top 10 in the league. Anytime you're in the top 10, that's a fast or a fantastic thing to have. So can they sustain it? That's probably the biggest thing. Power play, some get hot, stay hot, some go, will cool off throughout the year. But their penalty kill, I think, is the big thing. Like both teams, their penalty kill has been unbelievable. But the resurgence of the power play this year is probably the biggest thing for the Griffins that is going to really help them.
Especially, go ahead, Nick.
I want to touch on one thing. Charlotte Checkers last year, they were the best team for penalty kill last year, 86.6%. And we've already topped them so far. Just 11 game sample, I know. Last year's penalty kill for us, we were at 82.8. We are 14th in the league. So a huge jump to whoever.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't bad,
kill.
but still, that's Brian Lashoff. He's the one that runs that PK unit, right? So credit to him on the coaching side, but credit to the guys executing. And that hunting mentality carries over to the PK. As soon as they can get at that puck, they're either clearing it or taking it the other way. And it's exactly what you want to see from a PK. When you look at the comparison in the division too, obviously leading the division in the PK, but 79.3% is the bottom PK in the division. That's Chicago's right now. A whole 10% swing from the top to the bottom, which is actually insane. Just to round it out, just great special teams. Love to see it, honestly, especially when you look at the power play. There's a team in the division with a 2.8% power play right now. Looking at you, Texas. Oh, boy. Moving on from that, let's round out this Griffins week with our 3 stars of the week. And I think there's going to be some discussion between this here. I put the list together, and I always put it together for the boys to discuss and disagree with me. I put the 3rd star of the week as Erik Gustafsson. A 2-assist week again from him. One of those assists being on the power play, just continuing to be that steady piece defensively back there and playing really, really solid hockey in the American League. I know Red Wings fans go, what? Erik Gustafsson? Yes, we're talking about Erik Gustafsson. He's been playing so well down here. It was a pleasure to talk to him after the game on Wednesday, too. It's the first time we've gotten to chat with him this season. Just continues to be a pro's pro down here. So I gave him the 3rd star of the week.
No argument.
I went with Carter Gylander for this 3rd star of the week.
For the 3rd star.
3rd star, .932 in the 2 games that he played. Thought that was fantastic. Got an assist coming up from the E. What was it? 55 of 59 shots that he saved. Depending on whose math you want to go on, Brandon's or mine. But I put him as the 3rd star.
It's a good argument because I put him at the 2nd star. I think Gyro earned the 2nd star of the week, in my opinion. I know Travis is looking at me going, he's the 1st star, isn't he?
I mean, that's my opinion. It's not even like
Biased.
No, like thinking about it, like guys, like let's not forget he's going into this year, at the start of the year, he was the Griffins' 3rd goaltender. And he comes up and gives you around a .930 save percentage in his 2 first full starts and outduels, as Brandon said earlier, an NHL goaltender in the first one in overtime. And then I don't know.
It's an assist.
I know who Brandon has for one, and there's legit points for it. But with what Carter did this week, you couldn't even go back to the Wolves game, right? That was the game they lost, correct, against Chicago. Half the goals weren't even his fault. So he's put in really bad situations. So I don't know. I
wasn't even an OT. That was a shootout.
Or a shootout, sorry. But either way. I look at it as that's at the beginning of the year, your 3rd goaltender on the depth chart for this team. And he comes up and gives you 2 performances like that. Some teams would kill for that. But I get why you have your number 1, which I'll let you defend.
I mean, I had Amadeus Lombardi as the number 1 for this one. Obviously, a 2-goal week for him and assists thrown in there as well. It's just, him finding the back of the net in a time where, especially in a game where they need him to find the back of the net. Getting the game winner had some weight there for me, obviously. Man, you kind of sold me on it, though. You sold me on that swap there. It's the way how passionate you were about it, Travis. Just is what sold me.
Well, I mean, you can say the same thing for Ammo, right? No goals in back-to-back games, overtime game winner. That's a very important piece of that. So, I mean, I'll let you guys decide. You guys are you guys are the Griffins guys. I'm here for moral support and help, but I just can point out what I see. Listen, I don't have any shade toward Ammo. I think it's awesome that he got on the score sheet, but when your third goaltender does what Carter did, I don't know how you're splitting hairs, essentially.
Well, Ammo had 3 points. Carter had 1. I'm
I'm
kidding.
Well,
I'm
if it's
kidding.
going off point production, you can leave it, Brandon. I just was merely giving us discussion.
That's why I put this in the list to create the discussion to sway me on.
I'm going to be
I'm the one at
outweighed
the end of the
because
day
it's-
that makes the graphic for it, right?
I mean,
So
I'll say this. I know I'm going to be outmanned for the fact that it's Nick's favorite player. Brandon.
Nick having him at third star is just wild. That's
Who?
You had Gyro at third star.
See, you kind of moved me. I kind of feel like putting him at the second spot now.
Who was your first?
I had Ammo as first,
See,
and
I'm
then I had
outmanned.
John Leonard for second because of the point streak. So, which the Trav just kind of knocked me before recording. So you know what? I'll swap. I'll put Carter second, Ammo first. Sorry, Carter. No disrespect. I like you. You could be my favorite goalie. We could put John Leonard as our
It's not
third.
his favorite player, though.
Hey, Travis, what was your point to John Leonard's point streak?
I don't remember. I honestly don't remember.
Is it a point streak
So-
if you don't play all the
Oh,
games?
yeah. Is it a point streak if you don't play in every game? Yeah.
Ties
So-
franchise record with 9-game point streak, 1 goal, 1 assist, got the empty netter. That's why I think he needs to be up there. And it's his first year here, and he's got a kid sitting next to him in the locker room. I'm sure that's doesn't help.
I
Or
I
you see him-
understand why you would put Leonard in the conversation, but I still went with Gus in there.
Without Ammo, there's no Leonard. And without Leonard, there's no Ammo. So I'm kind of tied for them both being 1 and 2.
Listen, we can argue about this all night because without Ammo scoring, they don't win the game. But if without Carter making saves, they don't win the game. So, it's like just pick one and go with it. I'm fine with either. I'm just making pure discussion. And I know it's
As
going
the
to be
one who will make the graphic for it, I'm going to say it goes to Carter Gylander.
interesting.
Carter Gylander gets the first star of the week. Let us know in the comments who you think. There's a lot of guys that could have been in the second and third star range there, obviously. Austin Watson had a nice 2-point game there on the school day game. He did not play in Friday's game because of the veteran rule. You could look at Sheldon Dries with a 2-point week for him. You could talk about so many guys. Gyro's impact, yeah, first star of the week as the official one that we will share. But let us know who you think were the first, second, and third stars of the week for the Griffins. Moving on from the Griffins, talk quickly on the American Hockey League here because we're getting long in the recording time and it's getting late and I still have to edit this thing. Quick standings update for you all. Obviously, the Griffins still lead the Central Division of the American Hockey League with no regulation losses, no overtime losses, just the 1 shootout loss, but 10 wins there to talk about. Milwaukee has jumped up to second, going 7-2-1 in their past 10. Chicago behind them, going 4-4-2 in their past 10. Manitoba behind them. Yeah, we haven't talked about Rockford yet. Manitoba behind them, going 6-2-2 in their last 10 suddenly. And guys, I think we broke Rockford. 3-5-1-1 in their past 10 since they played the Griffins. Not looking so hot there. I say that now. We play them this week. Who knows what's going on there specifically, but at the same time, crazy to see them kind of drop down there. Obviously, they're tied with Manitoba for 4th on points there with 16 and 1 point behind Rockford. So again, splitting hairs here. In 6th place in the division, the Iowa Wild going 4-5-0-1 in their past 10 now. And the Texas Stars still rounding out the bottom there, but they are tied with Iowa, 9 points apiece there. So that's the update on the Central Division. Leading the other divisions, you still have Laval leading the North there. 10 wins and 5 losses, 20 points so far, off to a great start, as we've talked about last week and kind of went into more detail of their great start. In the Atlantic, it's swapped. Wilkes-Barre's taken the top spot there, 25 points so far. Played 16 games already. Holy smokes. Providence right behind them, though, 1 point behind them in second place. And you go down to the Pacific Division, Colorado still leading that one at 25 points, with the next closest team being Calgary behind them at 18 points. Henderson there rounding out the top 3. Abbotsford, as we've talked about last week, still at the bottom of the division. The goalie carousel continues to go in the Vancouver organization. I saw the Kalamazoo Wings share a post today that their equipment manager was their backup goalie in practice today.
Thatcher Demko injuries, man. And they just signed him to an extension not long ago. So it's.
Remember when Wings fans wanted him so bad?
Yeah, I do. I think
Dodged a
as soon
bullet
as
there,
last
didn't
year.
we? Yeah. I think we dodged a bullet there. But that is your roundup of the American Hockey League standings. And the other credit that we'll give out is the player of the week last week in the American Hockey League, coming from the Coachella Valley Firebirds, Jagger Furcus. I'm guessing that's how you pronounce his full name. Maybe not. 3 games played, 4 goals, 3 assists, 7 points in those 3 games for a team that's been not as hot as fans wanted them to be or expected them to be. They've always been at the top of that division. This kid had a week for himself. Holy smokes. Any player in the league would be happy with those 3 games, eh?
Yeah, I'd like to see that here.
Yeah, we could use a streak like that there. But that's all we have for AHL updates. Nothing's crazy has happened in the league. Honestly, the Griffins dominated a lot of the AHL headlines on AHL.com there with their point streak, with Tokarski's signing. Those are the articles you've been seeing there. Sure, more stuff will come out this week with the Griffins schedule coming up. We've said it already. They play Rockford on Wednesday in Rockford, and then we've got a back-to-back at home Friday and Saturday against the Charlotte Checkers, a new team coming to town again. I love when we see out-of-division opponents that we haven't seen in a long time. This is the first time in a long time, too, for Charlotte making the trip to Grand Rapids. So looking forward to that. Looking forward to, as Travis alluded a couple episodes ago, a John Leonard revenge game. John Leonard Hattie incoming in this game.
It'd be pretty crazy.
I'm hoping he plays both games. Maybe he sits the Rockford game and then he plays the other 2. I'm hoping that's the rotation.
Don't get Travis started on that.
Chance to talk with him this weekend.
So we'll dive more into this veteran rotation and the veteran rule when we have time in an episode coming up, because the rotations stayed strong. It doesn't matter if you're leading the league in goals, you're sitting out a game. So, and I know we have our thoughts and opinions on that, but we'll save it for another episode. We'll wrap this one up. Thank you all for tuning in to another Grand Rapids Griffins update from us. Stay tuned this week for our Toledo Walleye update that'll come later this week. A lot of walleye hockey to talk about there. Shoot, we're going to have, 4 games to talk about by the time we get to that recording? Holy smokes.
No.
3? No, we'll have tomorrow's too.
Well, I don't even remember. Did we get the kids game last week? Yeah, we did.
We did.
Yeah, so it'll be 3.
We're doing great here. You can tell we're at the end of the recording bandwidth for our brains. Before we wrap up, though, we got to thank our sponsors of the show, DraftKings and Everything Hockey Clothing Company. When you're betting with DraftKings, use code THPN. And when you're shopping at everythinghockey.com, make sure you use code WEST to save a few bucks off your order. And of course, it directly supports the show. So we appreciate anyone who's used that code already. We also appreciate our Patreon subscribers. If you head over to patreon.com/HockeytownWest podcast, you get unedited episodes, extra episodes, bloopers at this point. I don't even know. We're throwing anything on there that we can for you guys to try to make it worth your while. We keep tiers as affordable as possible because we know we're not bringing, all-star features like tickets or anything like that yet. But at the same time, we try to bring you guys some valuable content over there. So if you want to join the lovely following folks, like I said, head over to patreon.com/HockeytownWest podcast. The current subscribers over there are...
Got Darren Swartz, Peter Grell, Joe Schroeder, Bryson DeChambeau is Elite, Tyler Ingalls, Claire Boughton, John in Florida, Elaine Grace, Griffin, not from GR, Randy Zick, Derek Sleazer, Lori and Alan Fausch, Michael Asante. That's it.
Thank you all for the love and support. As always, we appreciate you guys so much. I know you guys dropped the final jersey ranking episode, correct? And I think Travis is going to re-upload a couple of them because we just realized that the layout on them was screwed up. We apologize for that. So you couldn't see some of the jerseys. So he'll re-upload those. So if you see a boost in episodes you've already seen, if you want to actually check out the jerseys he was talking about, you'll see them there. Our mistake. It happens. Sorry about that. Other than that, that's all we've got. Everybody have a fantastic week. And as always, go Griffins, go Walleye.
Love you. Bye.
Thank you for tuning in to the Hockeytown West podcast. Be sure to check us out on Twitter at HockeytownWPod and your hosts, Nick at GR Hockey Guy, Brandon at Brandon GR Hockey, and Travis at Trav in T-Town.